Chances are you're watching this and you're looking for off-market opportunities, whether that is a listing or whether that is a direct-to-seller lead for you to invest in. Now, stay tuned with us because I'm going to show you the best dialers to use in my own experience in order for you to ramp up your leads, find opportunities, whether that's listings or direct-to-seller leads. So let's get it rocking. Slip and slide records. So why is it important to have a dialer? So for us, using a dialer helps us increase our systems. Whether you're using Mojo Dialer or Call Tools or other dialers such as Zen Dialer or some whatever dialers are out there. There's thousands of them. But the number one thing is you are going to have a list of people that you're targeting, and you're going to have to call at scale. Whether that's 1,000 leads, you don't want to have to input them into your phone, take a ton of time to input them, and then get on the phone with them for them not to answer, and then for you to input another one. It's just a hassle. It takes too much time. When you can put thousands of leads into a dialer, you can have the dialer dial everyone for you, and you can talk to the first person that comes on. Before we get into this, let's talk about what makes a dialer good. So in my opinion, there's 4 things that make a dialer good, and the number 1 thing is the data. Where are you getting your list from? How can I track it? Number 2 is going to be your campaigns, being able to track campaign performance and being able to track agent performance. Number 3 is going to be ease of use and the control that you have over your dialer. You're going to want to make sure that your dialer is easy to use. You're going to want to make sure that you can control it, that you can do whatever it is that you need to do. And number 4 is going to be access to phone numbers, being able to delete phone numbers, being able to make sure that you're not marked as spam, refreshing phone numbers, buying new phone numbers, stuff like that, so you can stay looking good. So kicking it off with Mojo Dialer, it is the easiest and cheapest, most affordable option for people out there. To me, it's a more beginner-friendly dialer. It is the first dialer that I ever used when I started cold calling, and frankly, it's not a bad dialer. Some pros about Mojo Dialer: it has great data. Not the best, but it's good. It's good data. If you are targeting St. Louis, Missouri, and you have a section of St. Louis, Missouri you want to target, you can put a radius around that area and it will skip trace and pull numbers for homes in that area that you are looking for, and you can immediately, in less than 10 minutes, start calling a list of hundreds of people and get them on the phone and pitch them however you may like. Mojo Dialer is also a 3-line dialer. As a 3-line dialer, that means it calls 3 numbers at one time. Whoever picks up, you'll be talking to them. If somebody called you during that call, or somebody picked up during that call that you answered, it will reroute the call after you're done with your call to the person that called, and you will have a conversation with that person. Mojo Dialer is nice because they have the 3 lines, but unfortunately 3 lines isn't big anymore. But you can call multiple numbers at a time. You can get through thousands of leads using the 3-line dialer, and you can have conversations with people while doing so. Mojo Dialer also has an ability to add your phone number in, so when you're calling people, it has your phone number as the ID, the user ID. So when they pick up, they will see your legitimate phone number calling them. So it's almost as if your own phone number is making thousands of dials a day, which to me is not so much beneficial, but it can be for other people. Sometimes people enjoy that. That may be something that you want. You want people to have your own phone number, which is awesome. Mojo Dialer also has an app that is badass. It's not the most best user experience type of app, but it's a good app. You can use that app. You can call, make dials while you're on the road using your own phone, using the app, seeing what your agents are doing, tracking what your agents are doing, which is actually a big plus. I like that a lot about Mojo because a lot of other dialers do not have an app that you can do that. You can be driving for dollars, looking at properties, and you can go ahead and call someone up using Mojo Dialer's app, which is in all reality a game changer if you're looking for deals, if you're looking for listings, if you're looking for opportunities in general. Now, going into the cons of Mojo. Mojo is affordable, but there's always that but. they have different tiers. You're probably going to pay $100 for one agent. And then on top of that, if you want neighborhood search data, you're going to have to pay $50 a month. On top of that, if you want to record your calls, which I would suggest to track metrics, you're going to have to pay an extra $10, and it starts to add up. It is affordable though compared to other dialers, but you're going to have extra costs as you start to build. Another con to Mojo is it's only 3 lines. That's not impressive anymore. We have dialers that are doing 10, calling 10 numbers at a time. You can get through thousands and thousands and thousands of leads using other dialers, which Mojo doesn't have the ability to do. The other thing is it's friendly, but there's not a lot of control. The biggest thing that I hate about Mojo is the phone numbers. The phone numbers, you want to have the ability to buy and refresh and add new phone numbers constantly, because after you reach a certain amount of dials per phone number, your phone's going to be marked as spam. And if your phone is marked as spam and you get in touch with a seller, they're going to see the caller ID on their phone pop up as spam. And who answers spam? Not many people. You will have those conversations, but at the same token, most people do not answer spam, so you may be missing out on opportunities, which I do not like about Mojo. And the last thing that I'll mention about Mojo is that it's a good dialer, but it's going to be it won't be as scalable as you can use some other dialers. You can integrate with certain things with Mojo. There are integrations that you can do with Zapier and stuff like that, but there's not many to a lot of CRMs, which is also a huge frustration of mine with Mojo. Moving into Call Tools. Call Tools is what I use today, and though it may not be the best dialer out there, there are other dialers. I know a lot of people that use it. I know a lot of people that have success with it. And I want to talk off my own experience, not just based off other dialer. But Call Tools has been a great experience for me, for the reason being, it has the best, in my opinion, the best way to track metrics. You can track your campaigns. You can track your list performance, you can track your agent performance, and you can find out where the issue is. So if you're not getting a ton of deals closed, if you're not getting a ton of volume, what is it? Is it a list? Is it your agent? Is it a campaign that you set up? Is it some phone numbers that you have marked as spam? Is it an abandonment rate? What could it be? Are you calling too many numbers at once? Do you need to lower that? There's thousands of things that could be going wrong, but the best part about Call Tools is that you personally can figure out what is the issue by looking at the campaign performance, by looking at the list performance, by figuring out what do I need to do, what little tweaks do I need to do to make sure that my agents have the best data that they have the best resources that they have, and if they don't, then I have an issue with them. My agents either need better training or we need to get rid of them. Another thing that I love about Call Tools is that they have phone numbers that you can refresh, you can buy, you can delete, so you can constantly keep calling without having to reach the spam line. You don't want to get spammed. As I explained in the Mojo section, you don't want to get spammed. If you get spammed, then obviously it's gonna suck, but it's better to have a tool that will allow you to do something about it than not. Another thing I love about Call Tools is they have a 10-line dialer. Comes in handy. It really does. If you have thousands of leads to contact, ramp it up to 10. If they're all absentee contacts, ramp it up to 10. If you have a targeted list where it's like storage or apartments and it's a few hundred, then I'll knock it down to 3. And I will try having conversations with each and every one. But if it's just a list of absentee, you're hitting 10,000 leads and you're just looking to get through them and ask them if they want to sell their property, then that 10-line dialer is like your saving grace. It works great. On top of that, Call Tools has really good chatbots where you can have a conversation with them immediately. You can message them and they can answer pretty surface level questions. I do have somewhat of an issue with their customer service when it comes to a little bit more difficult situations. But for the majority, they do pretty good on answering questions. They're not terrible. so they can get back to you really quick. That stuff is important, because if something's not working right, if we have an issue, I want to know right then and there before my business just falls and we have to miss a day worth of calling. Now, the cons to Call Tools. Call Tools costs about $100 to $150 per agent. It doesn't have the data that Mojo has, so that means you have to go through outside sources, meaning you have to use PropStream, you have to buy skip tracing, and that can add up. Depending on how many leads you're doing, you're probably paying 14 cents a lead for skip tracing. You're probably going to pay the $99 a month for PropStream or Property Radar to pull lists and criteria. And then on top of that, if you run out of leads, it's going to cost more. So for that reason, it can get pretty expensive. But the caveat to that is that you get to control the data. Instead of Mojo controlling the data, you get to figure out where the data comes from and is it more accurate, and am I calling the right person? Am I getting opportunities? For that reason, I use Call Tools, but it can be a con because it's a lot more expensive. A second con is that Call Tools in general is confusing as fuck. Like, Call Tools gets on my nerves because there's so much stuff that I don't know how to use it all. I probably use 10% of what Call Tools has. I've had multiple conversations. They book a demo call when you buy Call Tools. They run you through everything you need, which is fine. But for instance, there was a time I wanted a button that when someone says they're not interested, I'll click that button and then it will put them in a loop 2 months later where we'll call them back and ask them if they're interested again. I couldn't set that up myself. I had to get on a call. I emailed them. It took a week to schedule that call. When I got on the call, they did it for me and I still didn't understand how it worked. And there was like a lot of back end stuff they did. It was just confusing. With Mojo, it's a lot easier, a lot user friendly. You can do things that are a lot easier. So, huge con for me with Call Tools. The third thing is their customer service is decent. Like I said, when you need something bigger done, it's going to be like pulling teeth sometimes. That could be annoying and frustrating. For me, it's pretty frustrating when I need things done so quick. So, for me, that was a big con. For you, it may or may not be. In general, if we're talking about the 4 things that make a dialer so important, at least to me, Call Tools blows Mojo out of the water. You have more control over your data. You have more control over the system, the platform in general, and you can see what your metrics and how your agent's performance is doing, how your lists are doing, everything that you need. So for me, the expense to pay more for Call Tools makes more sense rather than Mojo, because I know that my systems are working. I know that my agents have everything that they need to be successful, and at the same time, we can scale a lot faster by doing so. So if you want to sign up for either or, I'm not going to judge. I think Mojo is a great dialer to use still. It's a great beginner dialer. It was my first dialer. I do enjoy using Mojo, especially their app, but I don't need them anymore. I have passed that. Doesn't mean that may be you. If you still want to use Mojo, I have a link below. Go ahead, click that, sign up for Mojo, give it a free trial, try out Mojo, see what you think, and use it if it fits. Completely fine. Like I said, if you're half into real estate, if you're still getting your feet wet, use Mojo. Don't spend all that money on something like Call Tools. But if you're like me, where you're gun-ho, you will fire at the hip, I would 1000% go into Call Tools. I would spend the extra money. I would buy a list off of PropStream, Property Radar, or some other outsource, and then find a skip tracing platform to do so. If you need help with that, go ahead and look through my videos. We have a few videos on finding off-market deals, how I find off-market opportunities, a little bit of the systems that I use in order to find that, and you can replicate that and you could start using that to find off-market opportunities. So, like I said, guys, go ahead, hit the subscribe button. We're gonna have more real estate content coming out. If you need anything, go ahead and DM me on Instagram. That is generally how I will conversate with you the fastest. But let's keep growing, guys. Let's keep finding deals. Let's keep buying real estate. All right, guys, I'll talk to you soon.
I don't know where we're gonna go from here. I can't be sure, but I'ma keep on steering. I'ma keep on steering.